Time to get rid of that title. As soon as I get off of here, I got to change that title to Conor and Max delivered. Obviously, it didn't. I had to schedule this earlier, and it did not deliver. We came up short, man. What in the heck is going on? The card was a really good card. Sadly, the main event dictates on how people view the card. That's exactly what's going to happen. Not having pay-per-view is a blessing. Absolutely. This reminds me of like an old Mike Tyson fight. At least we got a knockout during those ones. This is a shit situation to be in. Look, I don't want to say I feel bad for Conor because it's the fight game. This is how it goes, but definitely a shitty situation to be in if you think about it. So Max doesn't want to win that way. Max was prepared to go the distance and have a battle back and forth. That's not how you want world-class fighters to win. And so most of you guys that are joining this podcast right now, you guys should know I do a reaction video. Okay, hit that like and subscribe button. Normally after every main card. I do a reaction video. It only lasts about 30 minutes, maybe, but I'm gonna give you guys my take on how the fights went and go from there. Okay. It only lasts about, if you guys have questions, hit me up in super chats, hit me up with just questions. I'll try to get to them as fast as I possibly can. I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support the pod. You guys have been fantastic. I also offer memberships. We do a $4.99 one and a $1.99 one. And I try to get to your guys' questions if I see you guys are members. Okay. Best thing I can do. And if you guys are a member, what could possibly happen is I actually will try to get you guys on. I will pick a member a month, and we will try to get you guys on for a FaceTime with me on the channel, and we will do a full interview or just a debate or a conversation talking about it. So glad Sophie Cunningham was there. I actually love that part of it. She's awesome, dude. She is awesome. Love it. So this was one of those. This really just was a womp, womp, womp. That's exactly what went through my mind when this thing happened. When he ran across and jumped into the kick, I was like, oh. And then when he fell down, I was like, something's wrong. Something's 100% wrong. I thought maybe he slipped, but then when he got back up, you could tell that he kind of was a little hesitant. I'm like, nope, it's over. The whole thing is over. But hey, Cobrian 2420. So funny to already have the that in the title. Yeah, the fight did not deliver, obviously. And I'm going to have to change that title. And we're going to have to go from there. So the world just got cucked. Yeah, all those guys. $25 million is what they made at the gate. $25 million is what they made at the gate. The highest grossing gate ever for this fight. And that's what they got for the main event. And it's not Conor's it's not Conor's fault. It's not the UFC's fault. It's not Max Holloway's fault. It's a shitty situation. This fight game is dangerous. And what we saw was a fluke, a freak accident in this situation. It sucks. Max Holloway does not want to win a fight that way. I can tell you that. You guys already know Max. Max, after his last fight with Charles Oliveira, didn't have anything negative to say. He said, like, people were criticizing him and this. He's like, no, I'm not going to say anything bad about him because he did what he had to do to win the fight. In this situation, Max doesn't want to win this way. So that's a fair assessment. And yeah, shit, that sucks. That really does suck for Max. I mean, I would like to talk more about the main event, but there was nothing really to talk about. Conor comes across the cage, tries to do like a little jumping flying kick, lands awkwardly, tears his knee. You could tell that it was torn right away because as soon as he went to stand back up, he was having a hard time putting weight on it. And then every time he moved, his knee would give out a little bit. And then when he went to do something else, he ended up falling back to his butt. So he already knew. And even Max kind of knew. He pointed at him going like, hey, are we going to let this fight go on? Like, he can't stand. And like I said, that's not how Max wants to win the fight. But if you are a fan and you paid thousands, let me just remind you guys, the nosebleed seats a month ago, the nosebleeds, I want to say like the top 3 rows in the nosebleeds were $1,200. The sport has gotten too expensive for the everyday family, which sucks. It really does suck. But those fans have got to be going like, what the freak that I just paid for? This is what I got. But the rest of the card was pretty damn good. The rest of the card was really good, to be honest. So I was very impressed with the rest of the card. So let's talk about the rest of the card. I would like to sit here and just bash on Conor, and talk about, what the fight, it's his fault. It was not his fault. I would love to be like, yeah, like Conor's washed and this night he needs to give it up. Let's not do that either. Let's see what happens. Let's go get his assessment on his knee. Maybe it's, I don't know. It looks like a tear because the second time they showed the replay, he went to plant to do something and you saw his knee shift and give out. So either he tore like a PCL or an ACL, but the way he landed, it looks like he tore his ACL. So that being said, yeah. So I think I'm not going to take jabs at him. It's it's unfortunate, but this. I'll take that back. I will take a little bit of a jab at him. You cannot expect to do the things that you did to your body for 5 years and then expect for it to perform the way that it used to perform before you do that to your body for those 5 years. It does not happen. You need to take care of your body every single day. Every single day. You cannot abuse yourself and expect to compete at the highest level. It doesn't matter if you're fucking Conor McGregor, and it doesn't matter if you're anybody else. You need to take care of your body. This is a learning lesson for him, for any athlete. I went through moments of abusing my body as well, of being stupid, drinking and partying and being out in the clubs and all those things after my fights. But I always got up in the morning and did my road work and did my training, hungover, beat up, like no sleep, no rest. Sometimes didn't sleep for, almost 2 days, fucking hanging out, gambling sometimes at the tables till 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning, and then going straight to pool parties. Been there, done that, lived that life. But I still went and trained. He got away from all that when he made so much money, and he abused his body to an extent that most of us just didn't do. And then he also went through a phase where a lot of people were talking about he was on, testosterone and growth hormone and everything because of the leg injury. But that being said, that has an effect on your ligaments and everything else once you get off. Because what happens is you use testosterone and use other things. You are building muscle that your tendons and your ligaments are not strong enough to hold. So once you get off and that muscle strength is not there as much anymore, now your tendons and ligaments are carrying the load and they are easier to tear. So he's put on a lot of weight from 145 to 155 to 170 now. So I can sit here and bash him, but let's just be honest. Those type of injuries, as much of an accident and a fluke it was to happen to him, you can't help but sit back and go, this is because you have abused your body for 5, 6, 7 years. You haven't got a win in 7 years. You were probably abusing your body before then. And then the last 5 years, you haven't fought at all. So he has done this to himself. Now, I don't know if we'll ever see him back, depending on the severity of the injury. It obviously looks like a torn knee. So he will not be fighting Paddy the Baddy in this year. He will not be fighting Justin Gaethje in this year. He won't be fighting anybody for at least a year and a half. At 38 years old, he won't come back until he's 39, almost 40. It's going to be very difficult for him to make a return. And who will he return against? Nobody of any importance. You cannot give him a fight after 5 years away, abusing your body, coming back, tearing your knee in the first 2 seconds, and then go away for a year and a half of rehab. Not that kind of rehab, but like muscle rehab and knee rehab. And then come back and expect to fight someone like a Max Holloway or, whoever else is there in that top 5, top 10, top 15, whatever it is. It just doesn't make any sense. And then when you get down into the weight classes, right, of who he potentially could fight, and I know it's in a year, so we don't know these rankings will change a lot between now and then. I mean, do you really care to see him fight Rafa Garcia or maybe a Dan Hooker if Dan's still around, in a year and a half? Do you feed him? Paddy will still be probably around a year and a half. But I'm just throwing this out here. The conversation is to be had. Like, what do you do with him? Yeah, sure. Chandler will be 50 by then. Chandler's 40 now. And Conor will be 40 when they fight. And then he'll be 42 by the time Conor comes back. I mean, he's waited this long. Why not have him fight now? Have those guys fight in 2 years. It won't matter. It won't matter. The one thing, if it was Conor and Conor's manager, they were hoping for a decent performance out of this so that they could go into their last fight with the UFC and then potentially exit and be like, hey, where can we get money from? Where can we get $100 million contract? Can we do that with Netflix? Can we do that with Fox or somebody? Another streaming platform that's potentially, willing to pay? There's a lot of questions to be answered there on what he does moving forward. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But this, I feel like this injury, as fluke as it may seem, but a lot of it has to do with the what he's done and abused, what he's done to his body and how he's abused his body over the last 7 years, maybe even longer. So, shitty situation to be in. Let's talk about the fights, though. Let's talk about that co-main event. Paddy the Baddy. Paddy the Baddy came out and delivered. He was the underdog going into this fight. I was shocked. And I had Paddy winning this fight by submission. So I put a couple thousand down on him to win by submission, cashed out, did well. Called it good. I had him. I figured the way that he would beat him would be by submission. I didn't think he'd be able to get it done on the feet. But I thought, if anything, Paddy would be the one to shoot. I didn't think that BSD would be the one to shoot. I thought BSD was like, hey, like he had some success against Dustin Poirier on the stand-up. He had some success against other guys on the feet. Like BSD's got decent stand-up. At least I feel like it's a little bit better, maybe because it looks a little bit more orthodox than like a traditional style stand-up guy than Paddy Pimblett does. Paddy Pimblett is all over the place. His striking is very awkward, very hard to deal with because of the way he strikes. Punches come from different angles, kicks come from different angles. Those are the worst type of fighters to fight because you don't know where their strikes are coming from. But yes, BSD did show very low fight IQ. I would have to agree with you. My username is, he said, showed very low fight IQ. And I thought Paddy, the way he set up his choke, he got to that front choke. And once Paddy turned him and got to that top position and BSD went belly down, I was like, oh, he's going to work on that Darce. As soon as he went right to that choke, once he got to that choke, it was out. Threw that leg over the back. If you guys remember in the old school day, there was a guy named, it was Tony. God, what was his name? He trained with BJ Penn, myself, Tony Gomez. Tony Gomez had a submission called the Peruvian necktie. He was from Peru. And that Peruvian necktie was very similar to this, but except he hit it from that anaconda position. He hit it from that position. Paddy Pimblett did. And he threw the leg over the back and just sunk it in. His body style, his body type is perfect for that type of submission. Paddy Pimblett. His physical size is really big for 155 pounds. Enormous. He looked like shit on the scale yesterday, too. He looked so sunken in. So, I don't know. I look at Paddy. Ooh, there's the knee. I'm watching the replays right now. Yeah. But Paddy, just to me, he showed so much confidence after realizing that Ilia Topuria lost to Justin Gaethje, and then Paddy's like, I went the distance with him. I took some big shots, and there was moments that Paddy Pimblett actually had Justin Gaethje kind of hurt in that fight. Tony D'Souza, somebody hit it out. This is the name I was looking for. Yeah, it's Tony D'Souza. What did I say? Tony Gomez, right? I think is what I said. No, Tony D'Souza is the guy. Tony had the Peruvian necktie. He did it in the UFC a couple times. They call it the Peruvian necktie. He trained at AK with us, with BJ Penn and myself, Frank Shamrock, all of us, man. Bob Cook. But man, for me, let's look at the rankings. Let's take a look at the rankings. You got Paddy Pimblett right now. He's obviously going to jump one spot. Paddy was at number 7. Sorry, in the media rankings, he's at number 9. But I think the meta rankings, shit, didn't even have Paddy in here. Oh yeah, they did. Sorry, wrong weight class because they set it up differently. Paddy, the meta rankings had him at number 8. Yeah, I think right now, Paddy Pimblett's going to end up being somewhere. He'll be up to number 5 where Benoit Saint-Denis was at. But, I mean, how do we feel about a Charles Oliveira fight? My ultimate, like, for me, I've always said, like, there's already a beef right now with Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria. How do we feel about Arman Tsarukyan in a Paddy Pimblett fight? How do we feel about that? I'd love to see that fight. That's a fight to make right there. I know Arman deserves a title shot. Let's not forget about that. Arman deserves a title shot. But Ilia is out for at least a year. I say 8 months to a year. He'll be out. 2 broken orbitals. Vision is his number one concern. He is really worried about that. So Arman deserves a title shot. You give Arman the title shot, and Paddy waits patiently, or he maybe fights Charles Oliveira. I'd like to see that. You know? But to me, I think Paddy Pimblett, his stock has gone up. I said this after his fight with Justin Gaethje, and then especially after the White House card. I said, damn. I go, Paddy Pimblett stock. He rose in my eyes after the Justin Gaethje fight because there was no quitting him. Didn't get knocked out. Had moments in the fight of his own. But I feel like, damn, he fought a damn good fight. A damn good fight. Here we go. Super chat. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Montana Big Sky says, why does everyone have to make excuses on this main event? He blew his muscle out like a guy playing an adult league softball. He's been gone way too long and killed his stock. He did 100% kill his stock. He did. This was the worst possible outcome for Conor McGregor. It would have been better off if he went out there and had a decent fight and got finished that way. But I said this earlier. You cannot abuse your body like this for 5 years or even longer and expect to come out and have some sort of performance. Your body, you cannot crash a Ferrari into a wall that many times and expect it to just wake up and start it up and then just hit the racetrack. It can't be done. Paddy Pimblett right now, his stock is risen. He's right up there. This fight lasted 1 minute where he got the submission. Beautifully done. And I think you're going to see Paddy jump up, obviously, pretty high up in the rankings. I say you match him either against Max, or you match him against Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. You can see that, but I would love to see him against Max Holloway. Paddy Pimblett versus Max Holloway, or Paddy Pimblett versus Charles Oliveira. Those are your 2 fights for Paddy Pimblett. What do you do with BSD now, though? Let's talk a little bit about that. BSD was at number 5. I mean, do you give him like a somebody else? Let's see. I mean, I don't know, man. What about a Dan Hooker? Somewhere in there. I don't know. Maybe a Dan Hooker. Let's see. We'll see what they decide to do with BSD. But right now, I think it's Paddy and Ilia won't happen for at least a year. Ilia Topuria will be out for a while. I love the Ilia Topuria fight more than all of them. But Paddy is not going to wait around a year to fight Ilia Topuria. 2 broken orbitals. Ilia Topuria is worried about his vision more than anything right now. So that's the fight. BSD and Rafael Fiziev. Is that who you're talking about? That's not a bad fight. That's not one I would watch that, but that's kind of it's not a bad fight. So the Mac is back, right? I've got to change the title on this, if you guys know. No, the fight delivered. It did not deliver at all. GSP versus Max. Look, Max Holloway told John Anik like a year ago that his whole goal is to fight at 185 one time. Isn't that fucking wild? The guy that was a champion at 145, considered to be one of the greatest of all time at 145, fought at 155, had some success, knocked out the current champion right now, and now just beat Conor McGregor at 170. He's like, screw this, man. I'm going to keep going up and wait. I'll fight at 185. But he told John Anik a while ago that he wanted to fight at 185 before he retires. That's wild to me. Absolutely wild. And because I'm a sucker for fighting, I'd tune in. Mario Batista versus Corey Sandhagen. To me, look, this was the one fight that I lost on. I lost on this fight. And you know what? I wonder if I'm going to lose on the McGregor fight. I wonder if they'll rule this an injury and not a TKO, KO, or DQ. I wonder how they'll rule that in the betting odds. But I picked Max to win. So I got Max to win. I had Max also winning by TKO finish in the second, third, fourth, but I didn't obviously didn't even get that far. What a crap situation. If you're a betting person, I told everyone not to bet on it, but meanwhile, while I bet. I bet on Paddy to win by submission, which is great. I had him to win by submission. I also had him to win just period. So I doubled down on that. Mario Batista versus Corey Sandhagen. This was the one fight that I lost. I lost the Corey Sandhagen fight. Corey hurt his knee at the end of the first round in a very similar situation where Mario Batista slid off the back, attacked the knee bar, and you could see Corey's knee was injured after that. Corey got up, the round ended. Corey got up and tried to walk to the corner, and he was limping the whole way there. And so in that fight, I thought Corey, I realized, this is what I realized in that fight, that Corey Sandhagen's boxing is good, but it relies a lot on his ability to kick. And obviously it relies a lot on his ability to make for movement. And he had no movement. You know? Bozer. Is that how you say your name? Bozer? Forgot to write a message. But man, disappointed. I think a lot of people are disappointed. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And thanks for the $10 super chat also. I know you didn't write a comment, but hey, I'm going to give you love anyways. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the $10 super chat. You guys are awesome. Props to Max. Alejandro Gutierrez. Props to Max for not inflicting more damage to Conor. I mean, when you see someone's injured, you don't want to win that way. So you just choose to go ahead and just, hey, ref, do you see this? Okay, I'm going to keep going. If you don't see it, if you don't stop it, I'm going to keep going. But I want you to notice that I see it. So, and fighter to fighter, we recognize it. We do recognize it. So, yeah, man. Storm slow. Corey lost you 15K. Oof, that sucks. That's deep. You cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me real deep there. Yeah. Let's go, Brandon Royval. Mario Batista, I thought, had a great performance. I thought he did a great job. Bozer, new member. I want to appreciate you. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for being a new member. Mario Batista, look, he had a great game plan. Chased that submission. Went to the knee bar at the end of the first. Was very close to getting it. Hurt Corey Sandhagen's knee from there, and then Corey just wasn't the same. Wasn't able to get it done after that. Brandon Royval came through in the clinch. I had this argument with Dean Thomas and John Morgan in the midweek show, and I said, hey, to me, Brandon Royval is one of those guys that if he makes it a dirty, grimy fight, like just gets in there and makes it a tough fight for the young kid, Loney Kavanaugh, it will be too much for Loney Kavanaugh. Now, Loney Kavanaugh showed me so much that it's not too much for him. What Brandon Royval did was that he was the better technician as the fight got grimy and dirty, especially in that last transaction where they got after each other grappling on the ground. Brandon Royval was able to rock Kavanaugh at in one of those exchanges. Kavanaugh was able to rock him right back. And then Brandon Royval was able to get the takedown, get to the top position. And Kavanaugh had no answer for the exchanges, the transitions from the side control to the mount to the back, all of those things. He had no answer for that. And he gave up his back. And then that's when Brandon Royval was able to get the submission. So to me, when I was breaking this fight down earlier in the week with Dean Thomas and John Morgan and Big John McCarthy and everybody that I had on the shows this week, I was breaking this fight down. And I know that Loney Kavanaugh was the favorite. Brandon Royval was the dog, which was wild to me. And so I took that fight, I took that bet, and I was like, hey, there's just no way. A guy who's fought all the best guys in that weight class, and you have a young kid who hasn't experienced, sure, he's coming off a win over Brandon Moreno. But we're not going to sit here and say that Brandon Moreno is the same Brandon Moreno that won the titles. We're not going to say that. We're going to simply just say, hey, Brandon Moreno is a good fighter, but he's not the same guy. Loney Kavanaugh had a good fight against him. But it wasn't like the dog fight that Brandon Moreno should have fought against him that Brandon Royval was able to do. Brandon Royval, when I broke it down, I said he needed to fight that style of fight to get this win. And he did. And that's what got him the win. King Green. cashed me out tonight. Cashed me out big time because he was also another guy that was a slight underdog when I bet on him. And Terrence McKinney had me worried when he came out and landed some big shots, had him all bloodied up, had King Green bloodied up. But man, Bobby Green able to reverse the position, get to the top position, and do some work. Do some work. So big time there, big time stuff there. So I was really excited for that. Very excited for that. So Zeke6629, I think Conor went in there already hurt. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate $2 super chat. Possibly. I mean, but you could kind of tell when he ran across the cage and did the jump that he landed awkwardly. So that is a possibility. Okay. Sepla B 2015 said, or 215 says, Conor, laugh out loud, Conor should now fight Chandler. I think perfect opportunity since my auntie can beat him. Thanks for the $7 super chat. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. That is a possibility, but I mean, he'll be out for at least a year trying to recover that, trying to rehab that knee. Bobby Lynn -1. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Disappointed at Conor McGregor Holloway. Best fight of the night was Roy Vall versus Kavanaugh. I would have to agree with you. I would definitely have to agree with you. That was a damn good fight. I was actually talking about this on the live stream. I said I was very surprised to see that was so low on the card. You had the number 4 guy and the number 5 guy fighting, I think is what it was, what their rankings were. How were they so low on the card? Because they're 125 pounders. But if you take a sample size of what they've done in that weight class, man, their fights have always been damn good. So I was very shocked and surprised to see them so far down on the card, you know? And I thought it was actually blatantly disrespectful to Robert Whittaker, him making his light heavyweight appearance, debut, and he was the headliner for the prelims. It really baffled me that that's what they did with him there. So let's talk about that as well. So I'm going to get into that. Robert Whittaker versus Nikita Krylov. Faster, good jab, very, very aggressive with his right hand, came over the top, landed beautifully. It looks like he broke Krylov's jaw because you saw Krylov kind of turn away, grab his face a little bit, like, no, I'm good, shake his hand, then touch his jaw. So it looks like Robert Whittaker must have broke his jaw. Look, a lot of people are going to criticize Robert Whittaker. He was a welterweight before. He was then the 185-pound champ. And then he went up, now he's at 205. Let him be. As you go up in weight and you're the smaller guy, you're also the faster guy. And let's just be honest, 205 and heavyweight are the shittiest weight classes right now in the sport. And that's not a knock on the guys in the top positions there, like Olberg and those guys, right? But what it is that there's no depth to it. So the top 3 guys or top 4 guys are having to fight each other all the time because there's no depth there. And that's what I mean by crappy weight class. It's not the UFC's fault. There's just not a lot of fighters out there right now that are fighting the heavyweight and the light heavyweight division. Look across all small promotions and the other promotions and the UFC. There's no one there. But King Green did look good today. I know he's a smaller guy in a lightweight position, but Robert Whittaker looked great. Fast hands, fast jab, and landed the beautiful right hand, stuffed a couple takedowns. He looked good. I thought he looked great. Let's talk about Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson is one of those guys that people were like, oh, he's going to dominate. He's going to do this. He looked good. For someone who only has 4 fights, he looked fantastic. I'm not ready to jump on the bandwagon yet that he's going to be UFC champion. We have a long ways to go. I've seen the best fighters in the world. Once they're really good at being the hammer, but as soon as they became the nail, it was a no-go. It was a no-go. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. Do I think he has the potential? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. What you find sometimes is top-level wrestlers, they're afraid to get hit. He's not afraid to get hit. Now, can he take big shots from big guys? Let's take a look at the heavyweight division. If I was to match him, I'm not matching him against any ranked contender right now. But at this point in his career, I would have to be very careful who I matched him up against in the heavyweight division. Ryan Spann can put your lights out. Now, do I think he can beat him? He probably can right now. I think he can beat Gable Steveson right now. Okay. You've got Walter Walker potentially could submit him. So, and that he's ranked number 11. Vitor Petrino has got big punching power, physically strong. I don't know if he can do it or not. But you get to Curtis Blades. I think Curtis Blades beats him. I don't even think it's I mean, Spivak probably beats him. Right now, I'm not talking about in 4 fights. I'm talking about right now. That these guys right now, I look at what I saw tonight out of Gable Steveson, and he can beat him. These guys can beat him right now. Give him time. And the fact is that the UFC brought him in on 4-0 because they had no choice. Some other promotion, maybe Scott Coker's new promotion or MVP, was going to probably sign him. That's one. And the UFC and the heavyweight division is weak. They needed a little like shot in the arm. And so they said, let's just sign him now. Let's not put him in the Dana White Contender Series. Let's just sign him now. But they're like, hey, we'll give you an entry-level contract. You're going to make probably $200,000 a fight, probably a flat fee, or maybe 100 and 100 because you are an Olympic gold medalist. You have a name value. Like that's worth something to them. That's one. Two is we're going to give you a contract of, say, a 4-fight deal. And during that 4-fight deal, we're going to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to give you guys that you potentially should be able to beat. Guys that are like high school wrestlers with mid-striking. And we're going to see what happens. That's what they're going to do. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. We saw him fight someone that had decent stand-up, looked like he had a little bit of pop, but did not handle the pressure once you put him in there against Gable Steveson. He put his back to the fence and kept letting Gable push him around. And Gable came in there with the confidence of I can be the bully in this situation because I'm the Olympic wrestler. But I'm just telling people, let's slow play Gable Steveson. Don't rush him. Don't force him to jump up. The reason why we're not doing that is because if you get into that top 15, Ryan Spann has legitimate power and could put his lights out. And the way that Gable Steveson fought tonight was like not a care in the world to get hit, which he's got to be very careful against guys like Ryan Spann, against guys like Walter Walker, who could just drop down on a reverse heel hook and submit you at any time. Gable Stevenson's got to be careful of guys like that. He's got to be careful of guys like Curtis Blades, Spivak, Petrino. These guys all have legitimate power and they all have a lot more experience than him. So as much as we all want to jump on the bandwagon, which I'm on the bandwagon, but I'm not on the bandwagon to say that he's ready to be in the top 15. I'm not. He's got 4 fights. Slow play it. Let him be. Let's enjoy Gable Stevenson's growth right in front of our eyes in terms of his ability to be a fighter. I'm excited for that portion of Gable Steveson. That's what I want to see. Everyone wants to rush him along. I'm not really ready to rush him along. I don't want to see that. Okay, let's get to some of these super chats. We've got quite a few that I just let fall by the side. Says Seplaby 215 says you got to come out of retirement for Chandler, bud. I think Big John even beats him after eating a steak. Yeah, I'm good, man. I was willing to do the whole the Nate Diaz thing, even possibly like another Gilbert Melendez fight because there's so much history there. I was kind of open for that. But Nate looks so shitty in his last fight. It doesn't make any sense. The Gilbert fight, I don't think Gilbert's even willing to fight right now, so that doesn't make any sense. The Anthony Pettis fight still kind of interests me. Anthony's been pretty busy though. I haven't been active at all, so that's a little bit out there. And look, where would we fight? Scott Coker started his new promotion, but from everything that I understand, they're not looking to have like older guys come in and fight for the promotion. They're trying to do something completely different than what they've done before in the past, which is good. Good for them. I think you're going to see a lot of different things that Coker does. Now, the PFL, they don't want to have older guys as well. So that leaves MVP. And that really just comes down to the money. How much money will they be willing to pay for someone like me to fight to fight Anthony Pettis or to fight some of those guys? Who knows? But look, I right now it's not even really on the table for me to come out and do that. Thanks for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Selfie by California. Thanks for the $3 super chat. Appreciate that as well. Zeke6629, my man. Thanks for being a long-term member as well. I thought Gable's striking looked good. What do you think? Also, is it time for Garbrandt to hang it up? It is time for Cody Garbrandt to hang it up. And I thought Gable's striking did look good. He fights a little too careless, hands down a little bit too much, kind of walks straight in, doesn't move his head offline. Those are all things that come with more experience inside the cage and more experience inside the gym sparring with top-level guys. So we'll see if he makes those adjustments, but he cannot afford to fight guys like Ryan Spann or or Spivak or Petrino or Curtis Blades or Kunaev, any of those guys, by walking straight in and just not moving his head offline. He's gonna get knocked out if he does that. So he'll learn that over time, though. But I'm looking forward to seeing him grow. Sepplaby 215. You should come out of retirement and fight Chandler, bud. It's a free dinner. No, I'm good. Chandler needs to hang it up. I've said that. Big John and I said it. I think he needs to hang it up. Montana Big Sky, Josh, I need you and Chael, or set up DC and Chael a conversation about Ilya and Islam, about the history of what really happened. You guys are opposite of really happened. What do you mean? Or you guys are opposite of what really? Look, what really happened between the two is that Ilya understood, if I strike at Islam, if I throw stuff at him, that Islam fans will respond, and people will respond. The bottom line is that Islam he has no desire to fight Ilya Topuria, especially now. The weight class is too big for him. Ilya Topuria won't. I don't think the UFC would allow him to go to 170. Doesn't make any sense. What Justin Gaethje did to him, and what Islam would do to him, Islam would take him down and just maul him. He's too small. And I say that with all respect. I am not trying to take a dig at Ilya Topuria. What he was doing with his punching power is insane. Absolutely insane. He's just too small. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't be able to survive on the ground with Islam. He's too big. He's a big guy. I don't know if you guys saw, there was a video of Sadulayev, who is an Olympic gold medalist, wrestled today at Roth Wrestling in Georgia, Tbilisi. Who was out there. He ends up losing to another Olympic gold medalist, Kyle Snyder. The two of them, Kyle Snyder, I just had on my podcast this last week. You guys should check it out. The interview's up on the YouTube channel. Hit that like and subscribe button as well while you guys are at it. But Islam and Sadulayev are standing side by side at in Dagestan somewhere, I believe. And he is a little bit taller than Sadulayev. Sadulayev has obviously got thicker legs, thicker back, all those things. But he is bigger, looks taller than Sadulayev, who wrestles at light heavyweight for Roth. So that should let you guys know. Like, Islam is a big guy. I've trained with him for years. He's 6 foot. I know it says 5'10". He is not 5'10". He is 100% 6 foot. And I've had Olympic wrestlers come in. I've had world-class jiu-jitsu guys come in and tell me, he is hands down the strongest guy they've ever grappled with. They're like, I've wrestled in the Olympic circuit. They're like, this guy is so strong. It doesn't, and to think that, and what you saw Justin Gaethje do to Ilya Topuria, Islam would have done worse to him. Not so much on the feet, maybe not in the boxing, but he would have dominated him a lot easier. That is not a jab at Justin Gaethje. That is not a jab at Ilya Topuria. Ilya Topuria is a true 145-pound fighter. Him fighting at 155, I think, was a bad move. I know he won. I know he beat Charles. I just don't think that he should stay at 55. I think he should go back down to 45, dominate that world for a while. There's no one, Volkanovski's getting old, and that's Father Time's undefeated. So that's where I'm at on that. I mean, there's other fights obviously to be had. So here we go. Montana Big Sky. Chael keeps saying Islam ran from him. Chael doesn't. If you guys haven't figured it out, man, Chael hates Russians. He has come out publicly multiple times and said that Sambo is not a sport. It never is a sport. It'll never be considered a sport. And that it's basically just wrestling. They just stole it from the Americans. That's all. Chael will say the most outlandish things. If he can say anything negative about Russia, he will. If he can say anything negative about Russian wrestling, he will. And Sambo is not a sport. I have been at the desk working with him at Bellator and at Showtime desk, and he legit just said, Sambo's not even a sport. I don't even recognize it as a sport. That's Chael. So, anyways, it's pretty funny to hear that from someone like Chael. Zeke6629. What is going on with Tracy Cortez? 2 straight losses. Kong Wang's just a better striker, and just unless Tracy Cortez is going to start wrestling and try to dominate the wrestling positions, she's not going to win. The girls are catching on to her game. Tracy Cortez cannot stand on the outside and fight boxing wise and have success against fighters that are faster and potentially can get in and out and land more shots than her. She needs to get back to wrestling and letting her hands go. She's also not the fastest fighter. Okay. Now we can take a look at her looks, but that doesn't show how well she's going to fight. Look, I enjoy watching her fight because she got some dog in her. And I enjoy watching her fight. But you get her to a certain level, and some of these women are just better than her. They have grown with the sport, and she has kind of stagnated where she's at. So she's got to make some changes. I don't know if it's with the camp. I don't know if it's with her training. I don't know what it's with, but she's got to make some changes. Sepple B 215. How about fighting Diaz versus Chandler at same time? No, I have no desire, man. No desire. Thanks for the super chat again. I have no desire to fight like those guys. That doesn't do anything for me. So, oh man. All right, guys. Well, hey, tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern time, jump back on the chat, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow morning. Big Angelo and I are going to break down the whole fight card, and we're going to talk about it in depth about every single matchup. You guys don't miss it. Hit that like and subscribe button. I want to thank you guys so much. Like I said, after every event, I do a live show like this where I just recap over the card. And I know it's not the result that you guys wanted tonight, but man, we had some fun tonight. We did a live stream the whole time. I don't normally do the live streams the whole time unless it's for a big time numbered event or a big time event like tonight, Conor McGregor or the White House card, that kind of thing. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got one more super chat for you guys. We can check. I grew up with Tank, Severn, Shamrock, later Liddell, Hughes, St. Pierre, Paddy. Paddy impresses me. He absolutely impresses me. Absolutely impresses me. I love everything about Paddy Pimblett, Paddy the Baddie. Supple B 215. Bro, I'm just trying to get you to chirp Chandler. Love it when you do. The guys, I can't kick the guy when he's down, man. He's been down a lot lately. So, hey guys, I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support me. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And you guys have been awesome with the podcast, man. So podcast is growing. I want to let you guys know. Dean Thomas has joined the team. John Morgan's joined the team. John McCarthy's always been part of the team. And we've also got Big Angie's on the team. And I'm talking with some of the guys. Alan Jobon is part of this team now. So I've got content going almost all week long. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I want to thank you guys for continuing to support the pod. Also, drink LMNT. Stay salty, my friends. And if you guys like this drink called LMNT, if you guys like for the hydration, it's hot outside, use the link down below in the descriptions. Okay. And enjoy the media. Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and yeah, trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. If you're not careful, you could burn yourself out. That's why I started bringing LMNT. No sugar, no junk, just electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, so you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, "Come on, Dad, keep up," you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. LMNT.
Stay salty.